What's good with it, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm gonna take my time on this one because this story is very heartwarming, very eye-opening, and it's almost surreal. I'm sure you can see by the title and the thumbnail what we're gonna be talking about. Man, it's just one of those things, man. When you're a very empathetic person, it's the littlest things, man, that touch your heart. If you're a football fan and have been watching the sport for years, been in love with the game, probably your whole life, like I am, you're very aware of who this is, and you recognize the impact that this man, had on the sport. So Chris Johnson, man, Chris Johnson, or better yet, or better known by the football world, CJ2K. He was a cold, he's a cold, you know what I'm saying? Bro was cold. Bro was cold. Like, I mean, aside from like Reggie Bush, so because he wore number 5 at Eastern Carolina University, that's where I went to college. Outside of Reggie Bush, I think Chris Johnson inspired a lot of young athletes, a lot of young football players or running backs to want to wear the number 5. I mean, dude was a beast, man. I'm not too sure what year he rushed for 2,000 yards. It is a feat not many have reached in the NFL, right? 2,000 yards in the NFL. And then, I mean, next to Adrian Peterson, because they're pretty much in the same era, he was another reason you probably wanted to wear number 28. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into the video. Really, before I kick this off, man, my thoughts, prayers go out to him and his family. This situation, it's heavy on the heart. Never met him, but you don't need to. I don't need to. Just to be able to feel for the situation and have your humanness kick in. So we got a video here, so let's check it out.
Johnson, touchdown!
Chris Johnson, one of the fastest running backs in NFL history, shattered records throughout his career.
80-yard run.
So fast, he earned the nickname CJ2K.
Chris Johnson is going to have...
All right. Michael Strahan, you high-key pissed me off, man, because you had a chance to script this out before you read it. I don't know if you really meant it that way, and that's okay. I'll give you some credit. But he was given the nickname CJ2K the year he rushed over 2,000 yards. I don't think it was necessarily correlated to how fast he was. Just to put that on the record, I guess.
A Titans touchdown.
He retired in 2017 and has been out of the spotlight. But today, he is sharing something deeply personal.
You've chosen to share some personal news.
Yo, my heart is beating so fast watching this, y'all. It's all right, man. I'm gonna let it play. Rock out.
Today, and it takes a tremendous amount of courage to share it. What would you like for people to know?
First, I want people to know that I'm still me. ALS has changed what my body can do, but it hasn't changed who I am.
In 2025, at the age of 39, Johnson was diagnosed with ALS, the disease progressing so rapidly that he now uses his eyes to trigger a speech-generating device to speak.
Why do you want to share this now?
Because if sharing my story helps even one person get diagnosed sooner, inspires more research, or gives another family hope, then it's worth it.
Johnson says he was in the prime of his life, working out daily and running errands with his 4 children until ALS changed everything.
Let's go back to last year. When did you notice that something was off?
I first noticed weakness in my right hand. At first, it was little things like my grip didn't feel right, and I wasn't as strong as I've always been.
His wife, Brittany, thought it was something much simpler.
Brittany, what did you think it was at the time?
I thought because of football and, his career, that it had to be something with that, maybe a pinched nerve or something along those lines, but never ALS.
And what did doctors tell you initially about your condition?
We hoped it was something else, but after thorough testing, they finally came down with a diagnosis of ALS. They told us about a medication that might extend life by a few months. Then they told us to get our affairs in order. It was hard hearing that, but after watching Good Morning America and seeing Dr. Merritt with Eric Dane, we reached out to her. She was willing to think more creatively, offering experimental treatments that might help and advance research.
Dr. Merritt.
This is huge right here. And there was a very particular reason I wanted to stop the video right here, because he did mention experimental research, experimental treatments, and I'm someone that I get my standard checkup. I check on my sexual health, my sexual wellness. But outside of that, man, I think I've been pretty blessed not to have to be involved with the medical system, doctors, for much of my life. I had asthma when I was younger, and I'm super thankful for the medical advancements and technologies that were available to me at the time, like an inhaler, albuterol, and a breathing machine. All that, man. Your boy had it bad. So I'm super thankful, and it was hard for me when I listened to the story, because ALS is a neurodegenerative disease. The actual medical term is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. If y'all remember the ice bucket challenge back in the day, this is what it was for. So it says here, just a quick overview, is that ALS is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. It leads to the degeneration of motor neurons, which control voluntary muscle movement, resulting in muscle weakness, twitching, and eventually paralysis. The exact cause of ALS is not fully understood, but it can be familial in some cases, with genetic factors explaining about 70% of familial ALS and 15% of sporadic cases. Currently, there is no cure for ALS, and it is considered a fatal condition. Man, I've even personally experienced, issues with my spinal cord When I was about 18 years. Excuse me. I think it's fair to mention that I also grew up playing football. Love the sport, man. I did get started a little late, in my opinion. I only played from like 12 to I tried a junior college route. I didn't play a whole season there. I didn't even play the season. I just yeah, I was part of the practice squad and all that good stuff. And then real life came into play, so I had to handle business. But I guess all in all, I probably only played like organized football for 7 years. And when I was about 18 years old, no, I was 17 because I graduated high school early. So yeah, when I was 18, I'd come down with I think you call it let's look it up real quick. So I actually came down with something called encephalitis meningitis. It says here is the inflammation of the brain, while encephalitis, excuse me. Encephalitis is inflammation of the brain, while meningitis is inflammation of the protective membranes around the brain and spinal cord, and both can be life-threatening. I experienced this when I was 17, attending community college, and I was playing football there. I think it was just a normal day, if I'm being honest with you. It was just a normal day. And I used to live so close to the campus, the apartment I had. I used to live so close to the campus that this day I was walking home. So let me backtrack. The day started as any other normal day. However, on this day, I had this stiff pain, this very stiff pain in my neck. No, I didn't think it was from practice, I didn't think it was sports related at all. I honestly just thought I slept wrong. You know, when you got a crook in your neck. However, this pain, this feeling, this sensation, it progressed very rapidly throughout the day that while in meetings before practice, I told the coach how I was feeling and you have anything going on with your head, neck, or anything above the shoulders? Football is not the activity to be engaging in. So I had to make a mindful decision and not participate in the activities that day, i.e. practice, i.e. hitting. You feel me? So I didn't even stick around to watch practice because this is how badly the pain had progressed in such a short amount of time. I began to walk home right as practice was going on. I began to walk home. And as I'm walking home, my entire spinal column begins to lock up. Like, you know, our body sends us messages. And the message I was receiving from my body was, if I move out of this particular position that you see me, like fully erect, standing straight up, that something bad was gonna happen. Like, this is what my body was telling me. And I'm like taking I'm taking myself back to that place in time, and I would say top 5 scariest moments of my life. Top five scariest moments of my life, man. And I couldn't understand what was going on. In my opinion, I was a healthy young man, just pursuing a dream, man. Just going to school, trying to ball, get that scally, go to the next level. And that day was scary, man. So I kept walking home, and while I'm on my way home, um, I had a roommate. Yeah, he ran track at the community college I was going to, and really good hearted dude. Shout out to my boy. You know who you are. Yeah, man. So yeah, I didn't mean to keep this too long winded, but I'm super thankful, man. Pretty much how the rest of that day turned out was it was my buddy and a lady friend of mine at the time that pretty much helped me get through the process, get to the hospital. I went to the hospital. Man, my mom wasn't living in Arizona at the time, so I had to call her from Minnesota. I was still only 17, so I had never really been to the doctor hospital without any parental supervision at that time of my life, and kind of a little bit of a hassle, but we got it done, man. I ended up having what's called a spinal tap. And basically what this did was, what it was is they stuck about a 12-inch needle. They showed me how long the needle was before they did it. And that's the only time I've ever been under anesthesia. But they stuck this 12-inch needle in my back and basically drained out this yellow looking fluid from my spine, from my spinal column, my spinal cord. And I don't understand all the science behind it, but I pretty much tell you the next day and the days after I was doing just fine, operating as normal, and haven't had any issues since then. In the realm of spinal issues, but yeah, didn't really want to keep that too long-winded. But this story is super touching. It's just only a few more minutes of the video. So I'll probably go ahead and just let it ride out. That's exactly what I wanted to say. On top of that was, go get your checkups. Make your health a priority. It's like the only thing you got really in this life, man. If you're not taking care of yourself, and I know this has nothing to do with what he did, how he's living, I'm sure. But take care of yourself. Make it a top priority to live well. I'm skeptical about the experimental, medications or the experimental procedures that that Chris Johnson underwent while in the care of these physicians. I'm just a natural skeptic in general, and I can't call it, but hopefully none of the experimental medications or procedures that they performed sped up the degenerative process, I could say. I can just keep my fingers crossed, hoping that wasn't the case, but nonetheless, let's hear the rest of this here.
Sikovich is a neurologist and leading ALS researcher at Mass General Brigham Neuroscience Institute.
Chris has been on standard of care, which is about 3 different medications that slow down the illness, but he was also part of a clinical trial, a therapy that decreases inflammation, and I think that helped him a lot.
With no family history of
I don't know. I look at the very first image, and I don't know.
ALS. Doctors believe his is a case of sporadic ALS, the most common form of the disease, affecting about 90% of patients, occurring randomly in people with no known family history of ALS.
That's one of the reasons this disease can be so shocking. It can happen to someone who never expected it.
And for me, it's shocking. It's hard to process it for me because I know you, Chris, from just the incredible athlete that you are. How do you process it?
Honestly, I don't know if you ever fully process it. At first you're in shock, then you realize you have two choices. You can give up or you can fight. I chose to fight.
And Brittany, what was it like for you when you found out that Chris had ALS?
All I could think about was our kids and how young they are. Just, you're in denial. You want it to be anything else. You want the doctors to be wrong. The life that we previously had is like now a thing of the past. But we're still hopeful. We're hopeful, you know, that a breakthrough will happen and that, or, you know, God, a miracle will happen, you know.
And what kind of support has helped you the most through this?
Without a doubt, my wife, Brittany, she hasn't left my side through any of this. My kids are also a huge part of why I keep going. Every day I wake up wanting more time with them to make more memories and just be their dad. They give me a reason to keep fighting.
Love it. Let's end on a positive note there. My prayers go out to you, brother. My heart goes out to you and your family. And whatever the effects, whatever the outcomes from this condition, Godspeed.